This conference will now be recorded. Muted.
The site plan to go down there, and at the last meeting, leave all the other rooms to for that time.
Unmuted. Muted.
No
Unmuted.
for you.
I think everything was pretty clear the last time.
The main thing was we had a couple signs that were not matching up well, and so this eliminates having two signs in one spot. We just have one sign that takes care of all the parking issues.
And if we prove this, then you can get those done this week.
Correct. Yeah, they did do some of the work on their sidewalks. So they still have a little bit to finish up still, but the street department will get the signs put in once they get them in.
Any other questions for Brad? If not, I'll need a motion to approve the second reading and waive the third with regards to the Carroll City Ordinance, Chapter 69.08, 17B Amendment, Parking Amendment.
So moved.
Second. Got it. Motion and a second. If there's no other discussion, we'll go ahead and vote, please.
Cots,
Yes.
Base,
Yes.
Haley,
Yes.
Seaman,
Yes.
Dirks,
Yes.
Fleshner.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
And a motion to adopt the
So moved.
ordinance.
Second.
First and the second. If there's no other discussion, we'll go ahead and vote, please.
Base,
Yes.
Fleshner.
Yes.
Haley.
Yes.
Cots,
Yes.
Seaman,
Yes.
Dirks.
Yes.
Ordinance is adopted.
Thank you. With that, we've finished the ordinances and we'll move to resolutions next. And the first one is policy number 0715, small wireless facility antenna tower right-of-way sitting, and policy 0716, small wireless facility design guidelines. And Mike, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. Back in September of 2018, the Federal Communication Commission, or FCC, developed rules that cities and counties and other jurisdictions in the country needed to follow regarding the exercise of local aesthetic zoning, public works, and fee schedules when dealing with small cellular or small wireless facility installations. One of the requirements was in the FCC order was cities had to adopt such policies by April 15th of 2019 in order to regulate small wireless facilities, which the city of Carroll did do. Since that time, the city's been holding discussions with various cellular providers on guidelines, and specifically our policy now 0715 and 0716. Staff worked with providers to address some of their concerns with the initial set of regulations and to ensure that the policies conform with the Federal Communications Act of 1996 and Iowa law, specifically Iowa Code Chapter 8C regarding Iowa Cell Siting Act. Staff believes that changes are necessary and the revised policies are needed in order to address the concerns of the providers and to be consistent with applicable federal and state regulations, ensuring the development of these small wireless cellular sites and that they don't endanger public health, safety, and welfare. The city intends that these revisions will ensure that the installation, augmentation, and relocation of small wireless facilities and public right-of-ways are conducted in such a manner that's lawfully balancing the legal rights of the applicants under the various acts. Additionally, I would note that policy 715 now incorporates some design and aesthetic requirements, which it previously didn't. And for that reason, we're recommending that policy 716, the small wireless facility design guidelines, be suspended at this time. Staff is recommending that policy 716 only be suspended due to the FCC order in order to preserve the city's future right to re-implement some or all these design aesthetic requirements that are contained in 716. I think in general, I think the main concern is ensuring that the downtown corridor commerce area and some of our more highly visible areas, those installations are done in a way that really is aesthetically compatible with what we've done in the streetscape areas and then throughout the rest of the community. So staff is recommending that the council consider and approve the resolution adopting revisions to policy 715 small wireless facility antenna tower right-of-way siting and suspend policy 716 small wireless facility design. And that's in the policy. I would note there should have been laid out on the dais a page two-sided that noted or 3 Scrivener errors, one on page 3 and 2 on page 13. So we'd request that those changes be incorporated in the revisions. With that, I'd be happy to answer any questions the council has.
How long do you want the 716 suspended for? Is that
Indefinitely. So
indefinite? Okay.
We may never bring it back, but we don't necessarily want to just remove it off the books again because of that FCC order.
It would remain in the code, but marked suspended then, or how does that work?
So we'll just refer to 715 going forward only. Correct.
That'd be correct.
Hey, Mike, just to refresh my memory, are these going to be popping up possibly anywhere in town? Anywhere?
They could. And I do think we will see some of these pretty quickly within the next few months once this change is made. In particular, what these small wireless sites is, they're putting them up in areas where there's a high concentration of cellular users. So some of the commercial areas in town, I think you will see these go up because their system, really because of how technology has been using with more data usage, they need more. The more sites they put up that cover a smaller footprint, the more data they can provide to more users. It used to be the old model, they'd put one tower up, it would serve 10 miles, but way back then, when they served 10 miles, they only had 100 users probably in the area. Well, now they're serving 2 or 3 blocks with these small wireless with 100 users. So they can provide kind of the same data to more users in a smaller area. It's how they can handle capacity in their system.
What about the school systems? Does this cover for them too, that they can allow to have that put up there? Because they use a lot of data.
Yeah, I mean, it could be, but I mean, it's a.
Do they have to do their own, or is it?
Yes,
this
they
cover?
have to do their own.
Okay.
I mean, it's all, these companies where they see data usage and see capacity issues, they're going to put these up in areas. And generally, they're going to put them in the right of way. In fact, because of Iowa code in particular, we can't charge an ongoing monthly rent when it's in a right of way. So that's why they're putting them in right of ways. And you're seeing them go up. You drive around Des Moines for a half hour, I could show you a couple hundred of them. So this is really what cellular providers, how they're doing it to really get to that next 5G generation of technology.
We have the first right of refusal on aesthetic purposes, correct?
Well,
They
we
will-
really don't. I mean, as long as they meet the aesthetics that's in the code, they would be able to be permitted to do what they do. And so really like in the downtown corridor commerce, it really talks about using a material that's all black in color, wiring and other stuff would be internal to the pole, but you would see antennas that would be external to the pole. Really in the downtown corridor commerce area, you're not going to see them being on light poles, but really outside of that, you may see them go in and replace a light pole and then add a fixture on it to where the antenna would be part of the utility pole or light pole itself, and all integrated in one. I know these providers work with particularly with Mid-American Energy, quite a bit where their equipment doesn't need to be metered under the tariffs that are in place. And so you don't see meters, you don't see power boxes. They'll run a fiber optic line direct to the pole, which is all underground. So for most people, they don't even really know, other than if you're walking by, there is some warning placards that are on the pole themselves that would tell you that this is the site of the tower.
Oh, okay.
Mike, have you heard, you said you could see a couple hundred if you drove around Des Moines. Have you heard of any specific problems that have arisen for in the right-of-way areas?
You know, I have not heard of
It's-
any specific problems. I think the thing we always get concerned of as a city is management of our right-of-ways. We have narrow right-of-ways, and there's more and more pressure to add items in the right-of-way. So right-of-ways are not just for streets and sidewalks, but right-of-ways are for gas lines, water lines, sewer lines, storm sewer,
Right,
all this infrastructure. You know, we're seeing more fiber optic lines that are wanting to be ran through our right-of-ways. And obviously this adds more for us to manage within our right-of-ways. And in particular, I mean, every community has a different right-of-way standard width-wise. We have a smaller side, on the smaller scale of what we require for right-of-ways. And so the more you see of these type of technologies wanting to go into our right-of-way, it's just more difficult for us to kind of work around those. Now, obviously, if we're doing a street project and we're going to widen the street, one of the things that the policy provides and state code provides is if it's in the way of a street improvement project, they have to move the pole
Okay,
at their
good.
own cost.
So we do have some autonomy over that right-of-way.
Mhm.
Even though they're getting a financial break with the placement, we do have, okay.
We have some management. And, you know, one of the things you get worried about is, you know, this policy, which is probably a little bit pushes the state law envelope is, you know, making sure they're on lot lines and property lines, because the last thing we want is one put right in the middle of a parcel and all of a sudden that's a future driveway. Because one thing state law does say is if it's for moving it for private commercial purposes, then that's the property owner's responsibility to move it. So there is concern in that area because one of these poles to move is probably tens of thousands of dollars to relocate one. So that becomes a concern.
Thank you.
So Mike, this relates not at all to, let's say, a temporary fixture. I mean, there could be times like they feel like there's a big event here, a playoff
This would
game or
not
something.
apply to that. I mean, if they bring in a mobile, what they call
Right.
cellular on wheels or cows, those would be outside of.
And do we have any say in those or not, whether they can be?
Generally, if you have a large event like that, you want the site.
I'm sure you would, but
And so, but, you know, we would work with them to place those appropriately.
Yeah.
But that would be outside of this policy.
Any other questions for Mike? If not, I'll need a motion to approve the resolution for a revision to the policy number 0715, small wireless facility antenna tower right-of-way sighting.
so moved.
Second. There's a motion, a second. There's no other discussion.
Mr. Mayor, just to be clear too.
Yeah.
With the resolution, it's also making the changes that were laid out, as you know.
Oh, I figured they were probably in there since you had made that discussion, but
As long as
you want to make we'll
Okay.
amend it to
So I would also
The
include the
corrections.
revisions on page 3 and page 13 as provided on the dais.
you concur? Mike?
Concur.
Okay. Still have a motion and a second. And if there's no other discussion, we'll go ahead and vote, please.
Base,
Yes.
Seaman,
Yes.
Dirks,
Yes.
Fleshner,
Yes.
Cots,
Yes.
Haley.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
And then I need a motion to suspend policy number 0716, the small wireless facility design guidelines.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. There's no other discussion. We'll go ahead and vote, please.
Cots,
Yes.
Dirks,
Yes.
Seaman,
Yes.
Fleshner,
Yes.
Haley,
Yes.
Base.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. Is Jack online?
Yes.
Yes, Mayor.
All right, Jack. The next item on the agenda is the report of bid opening, Graham Park Pickleball Courts 2020. And Jack, please.
Thank you, Mayor and Council. On August 4th, we received 3 bids this time for the pickleball court complex at Grant Park, which is west of the current tennis courts. All 3 bidders did have a percent bid bond, 10% bid bond, and the most apparent bid was 4 courts from Pillar Corporation of $159,784.
Whoop. He just disappeared.
You still there?
Yeah, we're still here, Jack. Are you?
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Keep going.
So $159,784 is the low bid. The available money is $182,360.37. So it did come in under what available funds we have to do this project. And included in my package, we do have a letter from FEH Design and Ron Speckman recommending to accept the low bid from Miller Incorporated.
Do you know, Jack, if this company has done some pickleball courts in the past?
Yes.
Okay.
My understanding is they're a newer company. They formed a couple of the projects. Some of the employees have started their own company, Pillar, but they've worked other places. And one in particular, they did the City of Waukee pickleball court.
Are there any other questions for Jack? If not, I will entertain a motion to approve the bid from Pillar Incorporated for the bid amount of $159,784 for the Graham Park Pickleball Courts 2020.
So moved.
Second.
Okay.
Got one?
I picked one.
Okay.
One.
We have a motion and a second. If there's no other discussion, we'll go ahead and vote, please.
Seaman,
Yes.
Base,
Yes.
Fleshner,
Yes.
Dirks,
Yes.
Cots,
Yes.
Haley.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor and City Council.
Yep, thank you, Jack. And I think we have Randy up next. Is Randy there?
I am here.
All right. The next item on the agenda is the water distribution main replacements 2020 with Rail Pros Utility Construction Observation. Observation Agreement and the Rail Pros Services Agreement. And Randy, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Pursuant to the UP Railroad agreement, the UP has determined that safety measures are required for the construction of our project. Those measures include construction observation and flagging of the railroad. The UP works with a company called Rail Pros Services Inc. as a consultant to provide those services at city cost. Rail Pros has submitted 2 agreements. The first being a utility construction observation agreement for the construction observation. The second is a services agreement that covers the flagging operation. Both of those agreements are included in your packet. They're quite detailed. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer. But our construction contractor has estimated that a marking railroad right of way will take about 5 to 11 hour days. Based on that estimate, the rail crews total fee would be about $16,595. Unless there are any questions, I'd recommend your consideration of passage and approval of the resolutions approving the construction observation agreement and services agreement with Rail Pro for the water distribution replacement project.
Randy, this is another one of these things that we pretty much don't have a choice in this, right? We either have to do it or we don't do the project.
Yes, that's right. The railroad company pretty much dictates what goes on in their right of.
Any other questions for Randy? If not, I will need a motion to approve the Rail Pros Utility Construction Observation Agreement for the Water Distribution Main Replacements 2020. I got to get two motions out of this as it's two different contracts.
So moved.
Second.
Well, there's a motion and a second. If there's no other discussion, we'll go ahead and vote, please.
Fleshner,
Yes.
Cotts,
Yes.
Seaman,
Yes.
Dirks,
Yes.
Haley,
Yes.
Base.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. Then I need a motion to approve the Rail Pros Services Agreement for the Water Distribution Main Replacements 2020.
So moved. Second.
There's a motion and a second. If there's no other discussion, we'll go ahead and vote, please.
Cotts,
Yes.
Base,
Yes.
Fleshner,
Yes.
Haley,
Yes.
Dirks,
Yes.
Seaman.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. And if Randy's still there, we're going to move on to the next item on the agenda, which is reports for the Water Storage Rehabilitation 2019 project, Certificate of Substantial Completion. Go ahead, please, Randy.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. The Utility Service Company has completed the water storage tower rehab project. Their substantial completion date was July 4th. The certificate of completion will include a punch list of items, 9 of them, to be completed within the next 30 days. In addition to that punch list, there are 2 warranty items that will be completed. The first is installation advisor gasket. That has to be fitted later in the fall when weather hopefully goes down so the power can be taken out of the. The second item is a 2-year extension, which was included in the original contract. Substantial completion date by contract was June 30. Liquidated damages in contract are $1,000 a day. Final project construction cost is $596,000. Unless there any question, recommended your consideration of acceptance of the certificate of completion, waiver of 4 days liquidated damages for the water storage tower.
Any questions for Randy? Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion to accept the certificate of substantial completion and waiver of the 4 days liquidated damages for the water storage tower rehabilitation 2019 project.
So moved.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. There's no other discussion. We'll go ahead and vote, please.
Seaman,
Yes.
Haley,
Yes.
Dirks,
Yes.
Fleshner,
Yes.
Cotts,
Yes.
Base.
Yes.
Motion is approved.
Thank you. I trust everyone's read the committee reports. I have no comments this evening. Are there any comments from individuals on the council? Are there any comments from the city manager?
None this evening.
None this evening. Thank you, sir. If not, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
There's a motion and a second. We'll go ahead and vote, please.
Dirks,
Yes.
Seaman,
Yes.
Cotts,
Yes.
Haley,
Yes.
Fleshner,
Yes.
Base.
Yes.
We are adjourned.
Thank you.